The I Ching has concepts of time, xi, and position, wei. As the saying goes, circumstances change with the passage of time. If the opportune time has passed, no matter how good or high the position is, it will be of no avail. As time changes, the hexagram changes accordingly, and the good or ill fortune of each line changes with it. The judgment of good or ill fortune, gain or loss, is made by comprehensively considering time, position, along with the relationships of correspondence, yìng, supporting chéng, resting on ju, and riding over chéng. The I Ching states, did not those who made the Book of Changes have anxiety and suffering? This means that one must possess a sense of anxiety and concern for potential troubles in order to seek good fortune and avoid misfortune. Specifically, according to the Chinese definition of universe, yu, zhou, the space in all four directions and above and below is called yu, and the time from ancient past to the present is called zhou. The I Ching also has the concepts of time, xi, and position, wei. Time is similar to the general concept of time, while position is more complex than merely space. It must be considered together with the specific thing or subject involved, taking into account its identity, status, and standpoint. If time is like flowing river water, then position is like an object drifting in that river. As the saying goes, circumstances change with time. If the opportune time has passed, no matter how good or high the position, it is useless. We will now introduce the double trigrams, i.e. the 64 hexagrams, which are composed of 6 lines arranged in order from bottom to top, such as the chéng hexagram, the kun hexagram, the jun hexagram, and the weiji hexagram. The 6 lines represent 6 stages of time and position. For example, Confucius described his own life in 6 stages. At 15, I set my heart on learning, the moving stage, the beginning of things. At 30, I stood firm, the entering stage, the combining of yin and yang. At 40, I had no doubts, the deepening stage, profound and dense. At 50, I knew the decrees of heaven, the manifesting stage, appearing externally. At 60, my ear was attuned, the calming stage, resting and fixing. At 70, I followed my heart's desire without overstepping the line, the changing stage, renewal and alternation. Among the numbers 1, 9, those that can be counted on one hand are called birth numbers, xing shu, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those requiring 2 hands to count are called completion numbers, chéng shu, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Among these 4 completion numbers, 7 and 9 are odd and belong to yang. 6 and 8 are even and belong to yin. According to the principle of yang expands, yin contracts, yang expands. So the smaller number 7 represents lesser yang, and the larger number 9 represents greater yang. Yin contracts. So the larger number 8 represents lesser yin, and the smaller number 6 represents greater yin. As shown in the diagram, we use greater yang 9 to represent a yang line, and greater yin 6 to represent a yin line. Furthermore, at the very beginning of things, time is more important than position. Therefore, the first line is called 出机出路, initial 9, initial 6, rather than 下机一下路, lower 9, lower 6, with the character chu, initial, placed first. At the end, position is more important than time. Therefore, the 6th line is called 上机一上六, top 9, top 6, rather than 末机一末六. Final 9, final 6, with the character 上, top, placed first. As shown in the diagram, examples of hexagram images illustrating yang, yin lines, appropriate, inappropriate position, correspondence, non-correspondence, and supporting, riding over, resting on relationships. The positions 1st, 3rd, and 5th are yang positions. The positions 2nd, 4th, and top are yin positions. Appropriate position, correct position, obtaining the position means a yang line occupies a yang position, or a yin line occupies a yin position, as seen in the GG hexagram shown in the upper left corner of the diagram. Inappropriate position, losing position not in its proper place, means a yang line occupies a yin position, or a yin line occupies a yang position, as seen in the Weiji hexagram shown in the upper right corner. The line texts for appropriate position are usually auspicious. Those for inappropriate position are usually inauspicious. However, there are exceptions, representing that proper behavior may not always lead to smooth sailing, while improper behavior may sometimes be quite successful. The I Ching distinguishes good fortune and misfortune based on gain and loss, they she, rather than good and evil. Gain is auspicious, loss is inauspicious. The I Ching says, did not those who made the Book of Changes have anxiety and suffering? This means one must have a sense of anxiety and concern for potential troubles in order to seek good fortune and avoid misfortune. For double hexagrams, the 64 hexagrams with 6 lines, the upper 3 lines form the outer trigram, upper trigram, and the lower three lines form the inner trigram, lower trigram. The line pairs first and fourth, second and fifth, third and sixth have a mutual resonating effect called correspondence. Yìng, complementarity of yin and yang, opposites, results in correspondence, as seen in the GG hexagram in the upper left. Sameness results in non-correspondence, no response or opposition, as seen in the Li hexagram in the lower left. As shown in the lower right corner of the diagram, for two adjacent lines, if a yin line is below a yang line, it is called supporting chéng, i.e. yin supports yang, soft supports hard, which is generally favorable and good. At the same time, one can say the yang line rests upon the yin line, which is called resting on yu, i.e. resting on yin. Conversely, if a yin line is above a yang line, it is called riding over, chéng, which is generally unfavorable and bad. The hexagram represents time, and the lines represent position. As time changes, the hexagram changes accordingly, and the good or ill fortune of each line changes with it. The judgment of good or ill fortune, gain or loss, is made by comprehensively considering time, position, along with the relationships of correspondence, supporting, resting on, and riding over. The I Ching states, "Its beginning is difficult to know, its end is easy to know." This means the bottom first line, reflecting the root of the matter, is not easy to understand clearly, while the top sixth line, reflecting the tip or outcome of the matter, is relatively obvious and easy to understand. Because the second and fifth lines occupy the central positions, moderation, the middle way, they are often auspicious. Hence the sayings, the second receives much praise and the fifth achieves much merit. Particularly, the combination of a yin line in the second position, Lu E, and a yang line in the fifth position, GRI2, is considered both central and correct and is mostly auspicious. The third and fourth lines, however, are less favorable. The third is mostly perilous, and the fourth is mostly apprehensive. Furthermore, the I Ching reveals the principle that things will reverse when they reach the extreme. For hexagrams that are generally auspicious, the final line often turns out not to be auspicious. For hexagrams that are generally inauspicious, the final line may sometimes be auspicious. This also reflects a fundamental aspect of the world. Change is the constant state, so imbalance between yin and yang is the norm. Balance between yin and yang is an ideal state, achievable only by the GG hexagram, shown in the upper left. Yet even its hexagram statement warns initial good fortune, but disorder at the end, indicating that it is difficult to maintain a state of constant balance, as it is susceptible to disruption. I am Wu Huayu, a PhD from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and a postdoctoral fellow from Peking University and the founder of AI philosophy. For more detailed information, please refer to the complete version of this book. In addition to this short video, you can also click on my avatar to view more long videos.